Do you know what non-verbal cues are, in particular as they relate to your voice? It might sound like a bit of a contradiction because voice obviously implies sound, which is verbal, but non-verbal cues that relate to your voice basically means everything that relates to your voice stripped of the words and that you and what you're saying basically. So I'm going to address three of the most common and big groups of these non-verbal cues that relate to your voice. Okay, so the first one is pacing. Pacing is basically how fast or how slow you speak. And as I said in a previous video, sometimes it's really, really difficult. In fact, it's surprising how difficult it is for people to slow down the pace of their speech. And I'll talk a bit more about why that is in an upcoming video. But for now, just think of pacing as one of those non-verbal cues. And pacing means how fast you speak. Do you have any breaks? Do you make any breaks when you speak? And do you also have the capacity to speed up and slow down? So the rhythm of your pacing is not too regular, it's not monotonous. That means that, like now, I might say something slower and then speed up a bit. So that is the pacing. And good pacing has the ability to have a sort of elastic quality in it. So it is not rigid. It goes faster and slows down, etc. The second point, the second cue, non-verbal cue I want to talk about in this video is a very common one. It's the one of pitch. And in particular, I'm talking about your general speaking pitch. So it's a general range of your spoken voice. And all of us have a level of modulation in this. And what modulation means is that if we take a sort of baseline of your speaking, your average speaking pitch, sometimes your voice will go up. Often when we have questions, our voice ends up going up. And then sometimes our voice sinks, like at the bottom of a sentence, like at the end of a sentence, the voice falls, the pitch goes down. So a healthy voice, a voice that is not full of trauma, a human that is well regulated, will have a good ability to have a general speaking range with quite pitch variations going up and down, but all in a sort of, let me say, in a way that feels in relation to each other. I will go into this more deeply in an upcoming video, but for now we're just focusing on these non-verbal cues, and pitch is one of them. And with pitch is range. So range is, how high can your voice go and how low. And the sort of average speaking pitch is somewhere in the middle. Then the last one I want to talk about is the volume. And here again, often there's confusion between these distinct groups. Volume is just how loud or how quietly somebody speaks. And again, here we have a range in our capacity for volume, but we also have a more average speaking volume. Like you might have noticed, there are some people that just every time they talk, it's always really loud. So it's as if the dial on their volume is just turned up. And they perhaps don't even have much capacity to turn down the volume. And then there are other people, the opposite, who have turned their volume right down and have a problem to turn it up. Okay, so that's the third one, the volume. And ideally, we have the capacity to modulate our volume. So if we're in a noisy environment, we'll need to raise our voice. We'll need to increase the volume. And if we're in an environment where we're perhaps sitting in a lecture and we want to say something to our neighbor, we'll reduce our volume to a whisper. So that's just simple definitions of the three main non-verbal cues. So the first one is pacing. The second one is pitch. And the third one is volume. So if you're interested in voice and you're sort of becoming more sensitive to your environment and the tone of people's voices, try to start distinguishing between these three. For instance, what triggers you? Are you triggered by somebody speaking very, very fast? Or do you get triggered by somebody who is speaking too loudly? Simply having awareness of what triggers you can help your relationships, because you won't automatically blame them. You'll get interested. Oh, that person always speaks really loudly, or that person speaks way too fast for me. Yeah. Or that person has no modulation in their range. Their pitch annoys me. So just pay attention and start to see if you can start to discern these three within people, because often people just say, oh, I don't like that person, or they irritate me. And often it's one of these three things that causes irritation. And I'll get more deeply into that in my next video. But for now, it's those three: pacing, pitch, and volume. Keep those in your mind for now.